Good evening, everyone. My name is Fatma Maher, and today I'll be talking about Microsoft Teams scenario and how I used it to integrate classroom apps and student class discussions. Why am I using Teams? Firstly, to organize my work. I also like to communicate with my students by giving them assignments and tasks to do. I also like to add and insert more than one application to facilitate teaching and exercising with my students. How it was before Teams. I had so many challenges to overcome. One of which is that I had the desire to share my resources with my students. I like to give them assignments to finish at home, discussions outside class. I would also love my students to download some applications to help them with their exercises. How is it now that I'm using Teams? By using Teams, I was able to overcome a lot of those challenges. One of which is resources. I was able to share my worksheets and activities with my students. Parents were easily accessible to my resources, and students could also review those resources at any time. Second challenge that I overcome was assigning tasks. Assignments could be easily accessible whenever the student is. Students won't be able to miss any assignment and they can do it on time. Students can also keep score and feedback of their assignments so they can review them later by them or by their parents. Third challenge would be discussions. Overcoming the obstacle of permissions from students' parents was so easy by using Teams because I can discuss with them everything online. Through Teams, I was also able to easily have discussion with the students about their projects, and I could also answer their questions and clear their confusions about their assignments and projects. Fourth challenge was application. First icon here was adding application. The second icon is the GeoGebra. GeoGebra is a mathematics application for algebraic and geometric graphs. The third tab here is the LMS. I was able to make the LMS website easily accessible for my students. Through that, Teams has given me the ability to provide my students with technological applications through it. Here we have the comparison between academic outcome for my students. In the first midterm before using Teams, I had 11% of my students failing my midterm. After using Teams through the final, 100% of my students could pass my exam. In the first midterm here, I had 15 A's for my students and 3 students failing my exam. That was before using Teams. But now after I used it, I had 22 of my students got an A and not one of them got to fail my exam. Here is pictures of my students using Teams. Now I'm going to be talking about Minecraft by using Teams. I use Teams through making different projects related to STEAM. I made different channels for different teams. Team 1, Team 2, Team 3, Team 4, so that each team has a specific task. Teams facilitated following the outcomes of the projects for my students. When my students needed help, I was able to easily communicate with them to give them feedback. Those are pictures of my students working on their Minecraft project. Now, I'll be talking about how I use Teams with my administration. Teams were not able just to help me with my students, but I could also easily communicate with my administration. I was able to use Teams to share files, to share lesson plans, to share resources and important website links with my colleagues to help each other out. Here I had the assignments that through Teams I would share a link for my students as an assignment, and after they solve their assignments before their due date, I give them feedback and correct their mistakes. My students would enjoy having feedbacks on their assignments. Mathematics Stars competition was easily achieved through Teams. 3 students were able to reach the finals. And now I'll be showing you how I use the audio conference call to help and supervise on my students. السلام عليكم. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. أبنائي أنتم معي جميعا الآن. تشاهدون الآن شرح شاشة الشرح. طيب الآن نحن معا في مسابقة الرياضيات. قبل بداية شرح المسابقة أريد منكم أن تركزوا على شيء جدا تفكيركم بكيفية التوزيع وكيف نستطيع تبدأ المسابقة. السؤال هنا يقول اطلب مني فور تايمز ما يساوي فور تايمز ماذا يصير Here I would like to show you how I give my students all the feedback for their competition participation. They all got 10 out of 10. معكم في الأسبوع القادم مسابقة نجوم الرياضيات، ولكن المرة القادمة سنراجع معا مساحة الأشكال المركبة. هل أنتم مستعدون؟ أنتظركم إن شاء الله. مع السلامة أبنائي، السلام عليكم، مع السلامة. My educational journey has always been exciting to me, but it was always more interesting when I started using Teams. Through Teams, I was able to communicate better with my students, my colleagues, my administrations, and help get work done more efficiently and effectively. Teams has also helped me communicate with my students' parents and give them feedback about their students' performances. Teams has made a big impact on my life as a teacher and as an MIE expert. Thank you.